All right. What do we even do now, guys? We have been talking for like 30 minutes
I know
and
what we'll do. Let's just summarize what we talked about, okay?
it
Like in a
was
very cold and precise manner.
God. It was so what if the most insightful dialogue we've had were in those lost 30 minutes?
I think Jesus did what he had to do.
Yeah, God
And
has something better
yeah,
planned.
yes, he has other plans for us,
Yeah.
and it's fine. So let's just summarize. So I'll summarize your achievements. So you did your routine, you set up new routines, and now you're going back to writing and drawing manananggal after 5 months of not doing shit because you were
Hmm.
not feeling anything at all.
I don't even want to talk now because it's like I've given so much of myself already in that time.
This
Anyway,
is your trauma. I know
yeah.
that this is your trauma that you don't like your time wasted.
And even the idea of repeating stuff, right? I hate repeating stuff. Anyway, for us here, what
Ugh.
he told me was that something you guys can look forward to from him is that he has two poems to be published in what is the website,
Yeah.
Austin?
Ilas.org.
And
Yeah.
on a personal level,
Uh-huh.
Ostier's feeling bummed out with life, and
Mm.
the busyness is not helping. It's making him feel worse. What else did we talk about?
We talked about our political views, which we, like
Yeah,
we think that, uh,
we addressed the comments against our show, which is that I think so far we have been kind of apolitical in a way. You
mm,
know, we haven't spoken about it, but I mean, it's just our seventh episode, and we have to. I mean, this is a therapy mental health show, so it
yeah,
really has to start from the self. But I think today our topics will help us move to a larger circle.
yeah, and I feel like it's okay to not be political all the time
Yeah,
because it will usually destroy your personality,
yeah,
and it'll just be like you're just saying the same thing over and over again. And of course
and mm,
I want to say like what we do in our art is political. Like
yes,
most of it is political, and that's
and
where it matters, even though art is not.
it's not that strong of an action. I want to say again that I think artists who think na making
Mm,
art is enough of a contribution are illusioned, and it's not enough. Art in itself will never be enough. I was invited in a parang talk, and I said to the students about
mm,
political art kasi yung topic. I
mm,
said to them na a person who handed 20 pesos to a hungry child has
mm.
contributed more to society than an artist whose comic strip has 2 million shares on Facebook.
Yeah, it's just for ego. And
Yeah,
people who shared it's like, oh, I shared it. I don't have to do anything now.
yeah, because I know already, I have awareness. I'm spreading awareness like that.
I'm woke.
That is not enough, and it's disgusting. Just, at the end
What?
of the day, we have to live our lives, and you're not a bad
Nice.
person for not retweeting every national issue, every global crisis. If you're not bringing it up in a conversation, it's okay, because our duty as citizens is also to live and to exist and to do our
Yeah.
tasks and to be a friend and to be a family member. And just the way, just the righteousness in social media is so exhausting sometimes.
It feels like a vacuum chamber. Like
Yeah.
everyone is shouting. I've read somewhere that Twitter is like a hybrid of like a personal diary and then like a community and then a news paper
I
website.
know. Even alter accounts are being attacked na parang, oh, you alter account, you're not speaking up on anything. Like, are you fucking kidding me? He's an alter account. The entire point of his existence is to be a sex object for the rest of us. And
But
it's like,
Shin, when I watch a man jacking off, and then there's text advocating for for a typhoon reach out program, I'm gonna come. Like
yeah,
when
I
the
know.
Gcash when the G when the Gcash QR code flashes above his penis, I come.
Or when he squirts, like the come on the floor is a QR code.
Oh.
Or he will spell like Lenny 2022
Oh,
with his cum
oh
using
my
his dick.
God.
I tweeted a few days ago na I hate logging on Twitter because it's like entering a hallway and everyone you pass by in the hallway will tell you is telling you something terrible and why you should be upset today.
Yeah, there's no breathing room for just surviving. Well, because it's cool to be woke. And I
Yeah,
don't mean that as like bad or anything. Like of course being woke is good, but sometimes it's like you poke holes into everything. So you're
yeah,
letting the ship sink more and more
yeah.
when we want it to float.
Which, if I may say, can segue into our topic for this week. We are
Mm.
going to talk about toxicity and
Ah,
being toxic, being the toxic person, being around toxic people, and defining what it is. Austin,
yeah.
what makes a person or say an environment
Mm.
toxic for you?
I'm friends with you, so I know how it is to be around toxic people. Well, I don't really surround myself with toxic people because I don't have a lot of friends, and
Mm.
I'm and I don't want to collect friends, or acquaintances. So I just
Said
know.
every adult ever. Every adult ever is like, I learned that I don't need a lot of friends. I don't have a lot of friends. Every adult's like that.
With toxic people, they're really not aware that they're toxic because they think that they are the main character. Like what they're doing is right. So you as a friend or as a family member, you struggle with them because they think that you're an NPC, you're a non-playable character. They can do whatever the hell they want with you because you don't they don't care. They don't have empathy for you. They don't see past themselves.
I think what
That's
you're
how.
saying is
Mm,
parang toxicity comes from lack of consideration and lack
mm,
of going out of one's shoe, no, being too
mhm.
self-absorbed. I think the bottom line of toxicity is always when you are too self-absorbed. You're not giving space for other people or you're not listening, something like that. And if I may say myself, I think austere is the type of guy na I don't think anyone would think of you as a toxic person. As
Never.
a worker, as a workmate, as a friend, no one will ever be spend time with austere and at the end of the day say na, oh God, he's kind of toxic.
Yeah.
Kasi your toxicity is usually self-consuming, I think.
Yeah. The toxicness is self-directed, and I
Yeah.
feel like
Which is not
you
a
know
good thing also, huh?
I I see myself as like a dump, a garbage dump, where people dump their toxic energies. Like they dump it onto me and then I absorb it so that after they talk to me or after our encounter, they feel lighter.
Maybe that's kind of a martyr complex as well. Maybe that's
Yeah, because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be the one to clarify things for the other person. Oh,
mm,
I'm gonna.
yeah.
It's exhausting and it's pretentious.
We cannot avoid toxic people and situations. But when we can, we should. And we should always make sure na you're not contributing to it. You're not making it
Mm,
stink more, something like
yeah.
that. Because
Well,
sometimes our tendency to deal with toxicity is to be poisonous as well.
mm. What I can say for Shin is that his toxicity is upfront, but it's not lethal. It's more of like a greeting. You know, like the first
That's
time you
true.
meet,
That's true.
the first time you meet Shin, he's like, oh, what the hell is this guy? He's like very abrasive and like rough to deal with. But then when you get to know him more and when he's comfortable with you, he's like the sweetest guy ever. It's just like his outside is very like thorny,
Yeah.
but his inside is very marshmallowy. That's why we get along because we're opposites. And you know
Yeah.
what they say, opposites attract. Oh my
Jesus.
god.
Yeah, let's not. So we
Okay.
will begin reading your problems after this break.
Hay, ang dami ko na namang hugasin. Iyak pa ng iyak si baby. Pagod na ako.
Sawa ka na bang magpalaki ng iyong anak? Nandito kami para sa iyo. Dial 911 Adoption Emergency. At sa loob lamang ng ilang minuto ay maaari mo nang ibigay sa amin ang iyong sanggol. Hindi mo na siya makikitang muli. 911 Adoption Emergency. Dahil nakakasawang magkaroon ng anak.
Finally! I'm free! Salamat, Adoption Emergency!
Okay, austere.
What?
Since we are talking about different layers of toxicity in this
Uh-huh.
episode, let me go ahead and read the first one. Dear Shin and Austere, how do I stop Instagram from showing me white people making quote unquote ethnic food? If I see another skinny white bitch telling me how to make the ho, mispronounced, I might add, spicy garlic noodles or the world's best taco or authentic dumplings, I'm going to throw my phone out the window. I have previously tried reporting all of these accounts by marking them as scams. Don't you think it's
Mm.
unfair that hindi naman sumisikat yung pagkain until someone white discovers it? Quote unquote discovers? Hi, nagutom tuloy ako. The worst part is, ako pa yung napapaisip, am I the one being close-minded? Signed, Hangry Hypocrite. So that's her code name. The real subject, sorry, is white people making our food. She's a she, her, 31 years old. Wow.
Oh.
I think this is her first official rant letter.
I love it. For me, what I can say is that I really don't like it when groups of people of different cultures gatekeep their culture, because I feel like, you know, the world is slowly becoming one, right? It's the globalization
Yeah,
era,
yeah.
right? And we want to protect, like, we have a defensive mechanism when it comes to our culture and what we present. But
Mm-hmm.
then when we're featured in a channel, I don't understand
You don't feel for
that.
Hungry Hypocrite. You don't
No,
feel
no,
for
no.
much.
No, I just wanna be like a devil's advocate. I'm a white supremacist.
If you don't, you guys don't see it, but Austin has a white hood on, and it's triangular on top.
Yeah.
I think it's his Halloween costume.
But gatekeeping, too much gatekeeping is not good because we want to share our culture. We want to be in the the world stage, right? Because culture is a powerful weapon. Then, like, who can change the world are people who are who have cultural power or social power. For example, K-pop, K-drama.
Oh yeah,
Korea now has social power all over the world.
yeah.
everyone eats Korean food, bibimbap, everything, samgyup-salamat.
Samgyeopsal, yeah.
So for us, I think we think of Korean food now as Filipino food, right? Like we eat
It's a
Korean food,
global dish.
yeah, on the daily. So why don't you want that to happen to Filipino food? For me, when you report these white creators for being scams, that's just going too far for me. Why? Why are you doing that?
I don't, this issue doesn't personally resonate with me because I don't care much about food. Like, I like eating, but I don't look at vlogs or videos of food. But while I agree with you, Austere, I also feel for her. I think what I don't like, as Filipinos, we've always had this problem na we had to get external validation to
Mm,
realize what good we have. The thing is, for example, with Korean food or culture, they already like it. They already believe
mm,
in it. No? That's why
mm,
when it went out to the Koreans, it's more like, of course, it just makes sense. But with
mm,
Filipinos kasi, we were taught to hate ourselves, or we've been programmed to think that whatever is Western is better. And
that's
I
true.
also blame the news, the media, di ba na, oh, this American Idol contestant is half, one-third, one-fourth Filipino. Yung kapitbahay ng ninang niya is Filipina. What's toxic here is not necessarily what Hungry Hypocrite feels. But I think what she's noticing, and I notice as well, is ayun nga, there's this inherent need for us to be liked by other countries. Like, we love videos, which I personally hate, of a white man enjoying Jollibee for the first time. Or let's
Yeah.
say, when a foreigner visits the country for a concert,
Mm,
there's always the question, how do you find Filipino women? What did you enjoy about the
mm.
Like, we're so hungry for validation as a country.
Yeah, and I also feel like Filipino food have a lot of identities because
Yes,
our
yes.
food has a lot of intersections between
Yeah,
Chinese, Spanish,
yeah.
and
Western.
Western, everything, because we've been colonized, nga, and we are, like we have the symptoms of a colonized country.
Yeah,
We're
and
showing that.
I think the problem, not a problem, but the situation of the Philippines and our culture is that we we cannot just be one thing, and we
Yeah,
cannot force to be one thing. We're not like Japan, which is Japan,
yeah.
because again, there's a lot of things on our table that's been brought by other cultures. So
Mm,
I think, yeah, I think it's always been hard for us as a country to identify ourselves, because what are we really? Are
yeah.
we Maria Clara? Are we Datus? Are we
Mm,
of the Malaysians and Indonesians? So
mhm.
it's I think it's really confusing to be a Filipino in terms of culture. So it's always a wild discussion.
Like that's always a problem for every like area in the Philippine context, like in literature, in food.
Uh-huh.
Like there's always like, oh, how is this Filipino? Like
Yeah.
what you're writing? How is that Filipino? And then we
Oh,
have to,
why do we need an English translation of sinigang? Just call it sinigang. Do we call sushi chopped up fish with wrapped in rice? We just say sushi. We just say bibimbap. So I hate when Filipinos are like, oh, what? How do we call sinigang in English? As if suddenly it will be more valid if we call it
mhm.
shrimps to whatever, right?
Yeah, and you know that they're planning to pass a law to standardize adobo or standardize like a dish,
I
like
mean, what the fuck is that even?
Filipino dish. And like the problem with that is every island in the Philippines has a different version of adobo or of any dish. I'm from Sagay City, and we have an island that's called Molokabok, and they have a different way of cooking like a dish than like in the mainland of Sagay. So how can you, you know,
Yeah.
that's also like my point then with like different kinds of creators cooking our food. Experimentation will always be good for decolonizing our identity.
Yeah. Yeah.
So don't be too angry about like, oh, white people, da, 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 because we have our own experimentations with our food, and they, you know, you can just leave them alone and support others.
So, hangry hypocrite, I hope this makes you less hangry.
Hangry.
Let's proceed with the next one, austere.
I'm gonna read our second letter.
Ooh.
It's from Baby Blood. So it's just a simple question, actually. So,
Mm-hmm.
Shin, when is it acceptable to lie? Why do you think people sometimes still choose to betray or lie to people that are important to them? Hmm. This is
Ooh.
lies and betrayal. What can you say about
Yeah.
lying and betraying people?
Controversial opinion. I'm very diplomatic about lies.
Huh. How can you explain that? Diplomatic about lies. What are you?
I'm not immediately mad at lying. Like if a person lies to me or me when I lie, like I'm not a liar, okay? I think I don't always take lies personally, and I'm a teacher, so when students cheat, stuff like that, I'm kind of
Mm,
used to it in a way. And I think it's easy for us kasi to think of someone's lie to us as an attack or as a damage against us. What I always do when I find out somebody lied is wonder or ask them the motive behind it. I always need to find out why did the person do it. Because I think most lies in the world are by ordinary people. I mean, politicians are another thing because it's their job to be upright. But most people lie not really out of causing pain, but more of self care, more of embarrassment. For example, there was my ex told
mhm,
me that he was 35 years old.
mm.
Like in Tinder, his profile is 35. And then I found out he was 40.
Oh,
And then, of course, he
five
was
years.
I know he was apologetic about it. And like to me, it was like, okay, but why did he do that? Is it to hurt me? Is it to catfish me or to fool me? It was more out of him being shy, being insecure about his age. So it wasn't meant to
Mm,
trick or fool me into whatever. So you gotta understand in cases like that, why do I have to be get super mad about it, diba?
yeah. Well, I feel like the examples you've given to us are red flags. They're just red flags, right?
I mean, come on, we lie more than we think we do. I feel like we lie more than we think
Yeah.
we do.
I'm not the kind of person you should ask this question about because I'm not a good person. uh, no, I'm doing better. When I was younger, when I was in college and I was dating. So when you're in the closet, it's like you're living a lie,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
Like you
wow.
are a lie. You're
Yeah.
betraying. Let's air quote that. You're betraying your family, you're betraying yourself, yeah, and you'll act on impulse. So for me, what I did was like when I was in college, I lied to get like a boyfriend. That was like a very bad time in my life, but also exciting. I was like in love with this boy, I guess, and this boy was my classmate, and he
Uh-huh.
was also in the closet. So we would just, exchange looks or steal touches.
Glances.
Glance,
Again,
yeah.
very, very Thailand BL of you.
Yeah, but I didn't know at first. At first, I didn't know that he already has a boyfriend. And that boyfriend is also our classmate who is also in the closet. So
My
the three of
God.
us. are in the closet. And then so we were like living this double life, and then we were in a love triangle, and I wanted his boyfriend, and
You
he
didn't
didn't.
you didn't let it stop you is the thing.
No, I didn't let it stop me. And I also lied to my other friends, like, oh yeah, I have a crush on this girl. This girl is so
Ew!
pretty. I
Oh
know.
god, you're so cringy.
I had to protect my identity, I guess. The most fucked up thing that I think we did at the beginning was like the three of us went to McDo. The boy I like and me, we were sitting together side by side, and we were holding hands beneath the table, under the table. And
Uh-huh.
then his boyfriend was in front of us, and
God.
his boyfriend didn't know anything. He didn't know that we were holding hands under the table. And then of course the boyfriend found out after a time, and I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I was like being pathetic so that I can gain his sympathy. i
Oh
was
my god.
I was not only a liar, but I was such a manipulative jerk.
Oh my god. But I
And
think if I do say so myself, I think you're
mm,
not like that anymore.
no, I've learned my lesson, and like karma bit my ass so bad, because I all of my three relationships started with cheating. So it's really, really bad.
I think lying is not such a black and white thing. It's not
Yeah.
like good and bad. Like really, we got to widen our perspective. Or I don't know. Maybe I'm just trying to be edgy right now.
I guess what I can say is that lying and betraying people that you love will have grave consequences and impact. Like, I think I'm still feeling that consequences. Like, I can't trust anyone anymore. Like, I have trust
Uh-huh.
issues. The question was this, that like, why do you think people sometimes still choose to betray or lie to people that are important to them? I feel like it also comes from a place of hurt
Yeah.
or a place of revenge. Like, oh, you've done something to me, and now I'm gonna do it to you back.
I don't know. Honestly, I cannot answer the second one.
Sometimes,
It's such a case to case basis.
yeah. Thank you so much,
Bye,
baby
baby blood.
blood.
I think we have to take another break to think
Okay.
about the actions. Okay, we'll be back. But if you really wanted me, boob slurp, there's things about me you just have to know. After years of her conservatorship, Britney Spears is back with her first concert. I'm not a girl, and tell me what to believe. I'm not a boy, you know I'm non-binary. Britney Spears, Break the Ice, the first concert tour, coming soon in 2022. All I need is time. So this is a letter by someone who calls herself the Broken Light.
Wow.
I know, thrilling. It was July 2020 when me and my friends first met. Since it was a pandemic, we often kept in touch with each other by calls and texts, and it made me feel I really had friends. I never experienced having friends that made me stop pretending and just be myself. As it goes by, there were rough challenges we faced, but we did it together. Parang my little pony power of friendship. But
Mhm.
this is where it started. I was battling with my mental health, and it was so hard because I felt alone in my home. No one cared about it because of my personal problems. And I even had suicidal attempt once. But my friends reached out to me and said they loved me, they cared for me, and I listened to them. However, this October, my friends were worried about me and I accidentally said an offensive word to push them away. I reached out to them to explain and apologize properly. My friend thanked me and appreciated it, but she said, "It's over for us. We're not friends anymore, and now we're not connecting." My friend was right about me. I was too dependent on their comfort. This is not the first time I had a long friendship breakup. This is my third time this year. Can you give advices for me experiencing friendship breakups and how to continue living from it? Thank you.
My goodness.
She's 17 only from Laguna.
Oh, that's really tough. Like three friendship breakups. Like
I know.
I haven't done. I
You don't
haven't.
even have three friends.
I,
The thing here that kind of alarmed me is that
Mm,
it's her third time to have a friendship breakup,
mm.
which kind of makes me think na parang sis,
There's something
maybe,
wrong with
yeah,
her.
maybe it's partly you as well. And she said nga na when the friend was reaching out, parang she lashed out at the friend. She said something
Mm,
offensive. I think this is a common, and she's very young kasi. So I think when a young person is having difficulty with herself,
mm.
there's a tendency really to spread the pain around or to when you are sabi nga 'di ba hurt people, and that's something you gotta learn. Like I think Austin and I are the same na parang when we're being chaotic parang
Excuse
we just
me.
okay ako na lang pala when I'm being chaotic I think before I lashed out a lot then, and it's like you have to
Mm,
understand me. You have to know that I am mentally problematic. So if I'm acting shitty, you just have to bear with it. But then
yeah.
parang right now I learned to find that balance.
I really can't resonate with Broken Light because I always want to understand people and I always want them to like me. And and of course it's very toxic then, no? Like
Uh-huh.
there's always something toxic about, lashing out to people and pushing them away because you're hurt and you don't want them to see you in a vulnerable spot. And but it's also toxic to beg for people to like you or to do
Yeah.
everything. Though,
And I
yeah.
noticed na she said nga na she realized she became too dependent on the presence of her friends for comfort. And that's something I'm still like learning na I cannot always run to people when I'm facing difficulty, whether it's internal or external. And you have to facilitate your own feelings. Na don't commit self-harm naman or don't be suicidal, but
Why don't you just tell them the truth? Why don't you just say why you're feeling like that? Like for example, Shin, like maybe when we fight, we don't fight, but when we don't understand each other, we take time off, right? I take time off. We don't reply to each other, or
yeah.
we don't talk, and then when we're good to go, like we explain
Yeah, later,
ourselves
like at a later
later.
time.
Yeah, so I feel like when you want to lash out, stop and then breathe and then just do
Mm.
something else. Do something else
Yeah.
to get your mind off of it, off of that thought. And then once you've calmed down, you need to think about what you want to say to them.
When we are feeling bad, there's usually this urgency in us to resolve it right away or to stop it. But I
Mhm.
think it's okay to have bad days. So Steer is reading his cards.
So, Miss Broken Light, what you need to do is, well, it's just simple. We have the Four of Wands, the King of Cups, and the Three of Swords. Just build the home again. That's it. Like you need to have healing. You need to confront the pain that you caused to your friends, and you need to reach out to them again.
Oh,
right?
so it's not FO, you think?
It's not FO just yet because the other friend was in pain. So you have to confront that pain with your friend,
And
right?
also don't keep apologizing over and over because that's also annoying. You know, when someone
Yeah.
wants stop now, forgive me, I'm sorry, forgive me, I'm sorry. Like they'll just be more annoyed. People need time. People need peace
Yeah.
and quiet. So that was tarot reading time.
So
Okay,
Shane,
austere.
what pissed you off this week?
Yes, guys, this is our new segment that we call Gays Talking Shit. Gays
Yeah.
Talking Shit. So in this
Gays
segment,
talking shit.
yeah, in
Wow.
this segment, we just talk shit about a particular thing that maybe pissed us off or maybe
Uh-huh.
made us angry for no reason. Do you have one?
The one thing I really, really hate is when people cancel on me. Uh-huh. I'm a Virgo and I value schedules. I value setting time for other people. And when someone wants to meet with me or when I want to meet
Mm.
with people, I like to keep that appointment
You
as much as
emotionally,
possible.
you emotionally prepare yourself. You prepare your
Yes,
time, your
I prepare
space,
myself. I get a haircut. I like, like it's a hill. I see the date as on top of the hill, and I'm walking to that hill.
and then
Or
they cancel, and it's
and then
like,
they cancel or like, oh, I can't make it because of something, and I'm like, oh, okay, and my day is ruined.
Austin is a surgeon. Like he works for St. Luke's. So every
Yeah,
time you plan a dick appointment with him, a child somewhere doesn't have a kidney attached to their digest urinary system. It's lives at stake when you plan to meet with this guy. So
yeah,
just think of the old women who need a heart transplant, who's
yeah.
not getting any because you were horny and then you were not.
Not even that. Even like just casual friends. And
Now he's attacking me, ladies and gentlemen.
what
I
else am
think
I gonna
once
say?
is okay, but when it's somebody's like part of their character to be canceling always, I think that's super annoying.
It is. It's just frustrating. It makes me sad. Like what if
Anyway, now it's my turn.
anyway. Oh,
Okay,
what pisses you
gays.
off, Shane?
Yeah, gays talking shit. For me, it's guys in Tinder and Grindr who go there to look for playmates in fucking Mobile Legends, in fucking Wild Rift.
First blood.
Like that is not what the app is for. I'm so fucking sick of people. You go there, you talk to them, and their first question is ML tayo, duo tayo. Like, kill yourself. I hate that. That is so wrong. This is not the time and place for that. I got a raging hard on that I need taken care of, and I don't play those games. And this is not. I don't even know if these guys are gay or they just really don't have anyone to play with. It's just sick and it's exhausting, and I don't care for that. It doesn't interest me, and it's just wrong.
But don't you think that like after a game you'll be like, oh, you wanna play with each other's joysticks?
No, not even. It's not sexy anymore. And it's like those games are like oh skins, oh rank. It's just fucking irritating to me. Like why is that what you do in fucking Tinder? Like no. That's not what it's for. It's like if I go to a classroom and I'm like, "Oh, I really need a nap. Thank God I'm in the municipal office now because I'm just so sleepy. Can I sleep in this bench? Thank you, because I really want to nap. That's why I went to the municipal hall." And wow, I think this episode is this is like the perfect episode where we are professional and also deeply personal. We touched on
A lot of
deeply personal
things.
things and really
Yeah.
toxic. I think this really we
We we really showed how toxic we were.
we were past tense. And again, please send us your problems at gg.gg/ not therapy
Mm.
podcast. And yes, Instagram at not therapy baby. And again, Thank you so much for listening. Austere, any final words?
Hit me up, baby.
Yeah. Oh, you know
Bye.
what? You know what's
What?
happening? Wait lang.
What's happening?
Some people discover the podcast,
Mm,
and then our personal accounts are linked there.
yeah.
And so they follow that as well. I
Oh
think
my
they think
god.
we're cute.
I think so. I think we should post more pictures of
This
ourselves.
this podcast is just a ploy for us to find someone, even if you're just remotely interested in us, like send us a DM. We're like the
We are
high.
single. We are single. So if you're gay and you're looking for a
If you have a
bottom and a
face,
top,
you have a body, you have a penis, like even if even if you're like bedridden, or, you know, you, even if you're just remotely alive, you know,
even if your doctor said that you only have 3 days left,
yes, yes, yes.
I'll
Thank you
be
so
there.
much.
I'll be there to pull the plug, baby.
Yes, we'll see you